Greetings and welcome to our podcast. My name is Noncedo and I'm here with my partner.
Dumisani.
We are here to unpack literature as a mirror of society. So today we are diving into Bessie's powerful novel, Maru. We are going to discuss the love triangle between Maru, Moleka, and Margaret Cartmel as an allegory of postcolonial betrayal and power relations.
Okay, so I'm going to briefly define the term postcolonial betrayal. So postcolonial betrayal refers to the disappointment experienced by former colonies when they discover that their newly appointed or independent leaders or government do not fulfill their promises of a better future. Instead, they engaged in corruption and exploitation. So the love triangle between Maru, Moleka, and Margaret doesn't act or operate just as a romance between the three, but it serves as a powerful allegory for post-colonial betrayal, while also portraying the themes of power, control, social hierarchy, liberation, and also ethnic prejudice. So without wasting any time, I'm going to hand over to my partner so that we get more deeper into the analysis of the novel.
Okay, so the love triangle in the novel can be seen as a representation of power dynamics at play in post-colonial society. As we know that Maru in the novel is a chief, and as he is a chief, he embodies power and privilege. While Margaret is a Masawa woman, she represents marginalized and oppressed. Moleka's one-sided love for Margaret highlights the complexities of power relations and the ways in which individuals navigate these dynamics.
Okay, I think I agree with you when you say that Maru represent post-colonial betrayal because we all know that Maru's love towards Margaret was not pure. His intention was to show that he has power, he can abuse power, and no one can go against him. So his actions are very paternalistic towards Margaret because he doesn't respect her. He doesn't even seek for permission when he asks her to marry him, which highlights the patriarchal norms that were practiced during colonialism and before colonialism, where former chiefs used to do as they want. They used to oppress women. They will marry any woman they like without seeking for permission from them. So that is why I say I agree with you when you say Maru is a post-colonial betrayer, because even after colonialism, he still do what former chiefs used to do, which is to oppress women. So to further reinforce on my point, there's a part in the novel where Tikeledi says that Maru is a real chief. He is a bit like the chiefs of the old days before the whites arrived. So this is to show that indeed Maru has qualities of former chiefs who used to rule during colonialism, and he still practices those qualities, or he still applies his qualities even after colonialism, which makes us regard him as a colonial betrayer.
Oh yes. Maru's love for Margaret is complicated by power.
Yeah. Okay. I think we are going to move from Moleka.
To Moleka.
As I don't know, I think you said Moleka. Okay, on my side, I don't know. I'm gonna hear about on your side as well. But on my side, I think Moleka acts as a symbol of liberation in the novel, because we all know that Moleka's love towards Margaret was pure, And Moleka's love for Margaret was pure. And it was not only pure for Moleka, but it was not only pure towards Margaret, but also towards the Masara people and the slaves. I say this because Moleka, we all know that Moleka grew up playing with slaves. So I think that's where his love for slaves and the Masara people developed in his early childhood. So also, we also see the love for the Masara people portrayed when Moleka gets angry by Seth's actions and he invites the Masara people in the same table with Seth, and he takes a spoon with food, he puts it on the mouth of the Masara, and then he eats on the same spoon, which shows that he viewed the Masara people and the slaves as equal to everyone. That's why I say Moleka acts as a symbol of liberation in the novel, because his actions and his love towards Moleka are pure enough. And we also see this, even his friend Maru knew about this, because there's a point where Maru even tells Franco that Moleka is a scoundrel, but he has a heart of a gold. So, which emphasizes that even though many people view Moleka as a womanizer in the novel, but deep down he is a good soul. He had good intentions, especially towards Margaret, even though he didn't put more effort into making sure that liberation is achieved, because I believe if maybe he decided to act earlier than Maru, he was going to be more successful than Maru in achieving liberation for the Masara people. So I don't know how you view Moleka, but I think on my side, Moleka acts as a symbol of liberation in the novel.
So with Moleka, I think he uses power to manipulate situations. For example, when Margaret first came, and when Margaret first came to Moleka, where he was in the office, Margaret came with Tikeledi, and when they came, he didn't show any feelings. Like he didn't show that he sees them. He was just there, and when Tikeledi, he didn't even greet Margaret. He just said, "You are the teacher that we were waiting for," and he said that you are late, and then he said, "The places are full." Margaret wanted a place to live. The places are full, and then because he knows that if he helps, they won't reject his help, he went after them and then offered to help. Because they were desperate and needed help, they agreed. Margaret agreed he agreed.
Oh, you mean he agreed to he agreed to be helped by
Moleka, even though he showed
he was disrespectful.
He was disrespectful towards her.
Okay, but I think Moleka was just kidding, because you know that there was this conflict between achieved, because I believe if maybe he decided to act earlier than Maru, he was going to be more successful than Maru in achieving liberation for the Masara people. So I don't know how you view Moleka, but I think on my side, Moleka acts as a symbol of liberation in the novel.
So with Moleka, I think he uses power to manipulate situations. For example, when Margaret first came, and when Margaret first came to Moleka, where he was in the office, Margaret came with Tikeledi, and when they came, he didn't show any feelings. Like he didn't show that he sees them. He was just there, and when Tikeledi, he didn't even greet Margaret. He just said, "You are the teacher that we were waiting for," and he said that you are late, and then he said, the places are full. Margaret wants a place to live. The places are full, and then because he knows that if he helps, they won't reject his help. He went after them and then offered to help because they were desperate and needed help. They agreed. Margaret agreed. He agreed.
Oh, you mean he agreed to he agreed to be helped by Molek.
Mulek, even though he showed
He was disrespectful.
he was disrespectful towards her.
Okay, but I think Moleka was just kidding because you know that there was this conflict between Moleka and Dikelid. So I think he was just trying to show off towards Dikelid, but then to show that Moleka has a good heart, he then at last he offered the bait to Margaret. So that is why I say, even though people regard Moleka as a bad person, deep down he had good intentions and is a good soul. And we see this because after he even found out that the person he loves, Margaret, is a Masara, he freed the slaves and the Masara people in his home. There was no longer a slave or a Masara people, to show that he didn't have any grudges towards those people. So I get your point as well, but on my side as well, I think Moleka serves as a symbol of liberation, and because his intentions mostly are pure towards the Masara people and towards Margaret.
Okay. Coming to Margaret, as she represents marginalized and oppressed, since we know that she is a Masara, but she was very privileged to have earned education, high quality education, and also where she grew up with white people. So what's your take on that?
I think we both agree on that because almost from the start of the novel until the end of the novel, Margaret is marginalized or oppressed because most of the decisions that are taken regarding her life, she doesn't have any say. She even loves to be with Molek, but then she doesn't do anything, she doesn't have any say, she ends up being with someone she doesn't love, which is Maru. So I think she is the marginalized because in each and everything that happens, she doesn't have any say in her life. So I think we can both agree on that Margaret acts as a marginalized symbol in the novel. So
Okay.
I think we are running out of time, so I think we have reached the end
To
of
the
our
end of our
podcast.
podcast.
So I hope you all enjoyed our podcast, and yeah, thank you.